with a much smaller socket. And we'll go get these back while I got this bad boy opened up. Grab my 6.10 mil quarter inch. I'll get this bad boy knocked out real quick. So, quarter inch ratchet. And this one's actually going to be really easy to get out. Never mind. What's up? 310 mils battery box. Now on this one, it's going to be easy as well, so you can just use your socket to pull it out. I'm actually using an 11 millimeter. It's so easy to get out. And pull this guy out, set those three to the side. Now you got your battery box loose. Set your wire to the side for your battery. That goes on the plug with the negative terminal. Slide this ugly thing out. Oh wait, you got one little plug, also plastic plug that mounts in as well. Like I said, we're gonna pull that one to make it a little bit easier to get out. I'm gonna pull this thing off because I'm already getting hot. And got my 9mm to bleed the brakes. I believe it's going to be a T30. No, it's going to be an 8 or a 7 mil. I'll try the 8 because I don't have a 7. Unless I go back. Yeah, it was an 8. So, what I do, like I said, I will wedge something in there, say a socket or something. So right now I got a 19mm socket with this bad boy up, wedge it underneath it for a little bit more clearance. Don't want to tug too hard though, and it gives me a little bit more space. You may have to lift a little bit more as well. Also, place this box down. And it is not easy, folks. That's the worst part about this car. It's gonna be the wiper cowl. A lot of guys would say to remove it, probably. I'm not going to waste my time of what, like I said, I've already done this job once. Now that we've got it apart, can stand the slide up in there, give you a little bit better view of what we're working on. I've got the master cylinder, the main reservoir that piggybacks off the other one. Oh look, there's the back portion of our battery cover. I was wondering where it was last time. So we found that. So what you're going to do, coolant hose? Is that brake? That's probably brake fluid. Just curious because this vehicle also has a coolant leak, which is a whole nother story that we won't get into right now. But you're going to disconnect this plug here. You've got a diaphragm here that you have to disconnect. That's the hose here that pulls vacuum. That's how the booster works, pulls vacuum off your engine. So what you're going to do is pull these two 13mm bolts, as well as these, I believe, 5/8 or 15mm lines that run and feed to your ABS system, and then in turn wrench back out and feed to each one of your wheels. So we're going to hop on this real quick. I may try to set my camera down to get a little better view, so I ain't got to keep moving my head around. So stand by and we'll see what we do. You. I'd prefer to do if I were you though, you're going to be disconnecting these lines. Last time this is what I did. It worked out pretty good. I didn't make too much of a mess, especially on my driveway or on the car. Put a styrofoam cup in here, which is going to take me 2 hands, obviously. Let me get this fucker in here. And you're going to do one line at a time. That should work out pretty good. Hopefully everyone can see. You're going to do one of these lines at a time that are on the passenger side of the brake master cylinder. It's going to be these 2 lines right here. Like I said, they're 15 millimeters. They shouldn't be super tight, but they do need to be nice and snug so you don't have any brake fluid leaks. So I'm going to pop these loose. Like I said, this hose is very flexible, so pivot your hose here around as much as you need to, and use your cup or some sort of catch can or something to catch it. You don't want to get any brake fluid on anything. It is very corrosive to paint. It will eat it away. So we got clean brake fluid. As I told you, I already bled this system out. Guess I could have started with the back one and then speed the process up just a little bit, folks. Trying to get this car out of my driveway. This is my wife's friend's car. I'm helping her out. And also making a little extra money because I do work for Ford, so you're going to loosen both of these brake lines. Get all the brake fluid out of the master cylinder as you can. Things are getting wet. Getting hard to turn. Also too, if you're having issues getting the lines back in, try wiggling it from a little further distance on the line. Try to wiggle her back in, because I do have issues with this back line trying to get it threaded back in. But you also do want a very rigid glove, I guess I could say. Some sort of thing that has some kind of grip. And that'll help you in the long run. Man, I don't know why this line's being so stubborn. Hopefully it didn't get cross-threaded. That's kind of what it's feeling like. Also use a rag. I hope you get a little bit of grip. And there we go. It just popped loose like nobody's business. Simple as that, folks. That's what happens sometimes. It gets difficult for no fucking reason. So we'll let both of those drain in there. once we get those drained off, we will pull the master cylinder and disconnect the brake booster back line, and we're going to disconnect it from inside the cabin. So I guess while that drains, I'll go ahead and show you what we're talking about. And this car is very dirty, folks, so, and looks like it's quite a ways out. Go ahead and pull the sleeve. And you can have these 4 bolts that hold the master cylinder in, and a little pin that's going to hold it to your brake pedal. So anyways, these 4 bolts, I'm just looking, and so once you get this little plug out, and I'll show you in a quick second how this little guy works. There's 2 tabs on either side you need to release, and that's what connects your brake pedal to this here brake booster. So I'll show you in a second whenever I reinstall it. Push all your stuff out of the way. Try to get your lines out of the way. And you can't forget your vacuum line you have hooked up. The vacuum line is actually going to come this way though anyways. So we can go ahead and disconnect it. We'll just pull it out with it and then disconnect it in an easier location. So the hard part right now is going to be getting this part out and getting it around the brake lines. Like I said, you're going to have to bend and pull and finagle this guy out of here. So it might have been easier to get it out with the brake booster disconnected, or the master cylinder off, but we're going to try to do it this way. Give you guys some footage. Now, one thing you do got to be careful of is this line, how much it will actually flex. So now that we've got it in a good location, we're going to figure out how this guy pops out. And we can just pull them out then. Maybe that's all we needed to do anyways. It looked like there was a tab on it. Sorry folks, no tab. Just pull her out very softly. Still got your brake lines over here. Also, you got to be leery about. And the brake lines are what's holding you up. Go ahead and switch to a fresh pair of gloves. See what these are catching on so freaking bad, but they are. like that. Probably can't see it, but she's coming out. Oh my god, seriously, it was connected. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Alright guys. Now what we're going to do, disconnect the master cylinder from the booster. Two 13mm bolts. Very simple job. Pop those guys out. Pull this gentleman out. Let's set this gentleman over here on the floor. Take it back. Got the portion we disconnected underneath the hood. Try to mount it how they have it set up. You're going to throw your master cylinder onto your booster here. Reattach it with the bolts. And actually, we're going to go ahead and clean everything off here. And that piece just popped out. Alright, so a lot of people like to bench bleed. Basically bench bleeding, you're going to use two hoses. You're going to pull pressure into the reservoir, which in this case you can't unless you hook up the other one, and into the master cylinder until it squirts out the side. In this case I have a vacuum bleeder, so we're not going to actually do that. We're just going to clean the surfaces, make sure this gasket here is nice and clean, even though we just installed this part. Clean off any dirt and debris, clean the surface of the master cylinder if you got anything on it, and reattach this bad boy. And like I said, clean up anything that you got anything on. In this case it's going to be the bolts. It's always good to do a nice clean down too with brake clean. And it would appear these bolts don't want to work. Get another thread and all the way down, and they stop. So in most cases you would want to try to find the correct bolts, but in this case I know they're right, so we're going to hammer them on because the threads probably need to be cleaned up. So we're good there. And I always like to double check and make sure the gun did its job. And that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. And we're going to reinstall. Reverse of what we just did. Like I said, this blue plug here is actually what's going to connect this to the brake pedal. It actually goes in from the passenger side towards the driver. You got two clips on either side that actually hold it in place. So, alright, we're going to get this bad boy put back in.